Hey, I'm Matthew, and if you're looking to win a job, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to infinitely increase the probability of you winning that job. Significantly increase your chances of winning that job. This tip, if you follow it, is going to give employers like me, I'm an entrepreneur, have a few different businesses, employed a lot of people over the years. It's going to give employers like me the two things we need to move your resume to the top of the pile. The two things we need are this. We need demonstration of skill, and we need interest in the job. That's the two big things we're looking for. Yes, a lot of people may talk about credentials, diplomas, degrees, and so on, and some jobs will require that, but many jobs don't. In fact, millions of jobs don't require those things. What they want to see is someone who can do the job and do the job well. Normally it comes down to experience, so if you've done the job before that you're going for, you got a good chance at winning it. But let's say you don't have that direct experience. So here's the two things you need. You need to show interest and you need to show skills. And you do this by creating a portfolio. A portfolio is simply a collection of resources that demonstrate your skill and your interest in a particular subject area. Let's talk some examples. Let's say you want to be a programmer. I'll use examples like programmer, graphic design, copywriter, advertising, automotive industry. This applies to anything. So let's say you want to be a programmer. Well, you went to school, maybe you didn't, maybe you did. Let's say you went to school, you did projects in school. Well, create those projects, take those projects, and put them together in a portfolio. A portfolio, it could be a website, it could be something printed, something that's very well organized, demonstrates what you've accomplished. So if you want to be a programmer, you might have a portfolio that shows some type of mobile app that you created, or web app that you created, or a game that you created, programming languages that you're learning. So have it all nicely organized, not a bunch of junk files or GitHub or something like that. It has to be very well organized, very easy for an employer to quickly browse and understand, hey, this person has skill in this area and has interest in the area. If you're a graphic designer, it would be collecting your graphic designs and various examples together in some type of resource. Again, it could be a website, it could be a PDF document, it could be something printed. If you're interested in getting a job in the automotive industry, maybe it's a collection of imagery of your favorite cars, maybe you've got your own sketches, whatever it is, something that demonstrates you have skill in that area and interest, right? Every employer doesn't just want somebody who can do the job. Every employer wants somebody who can do the job and is interested in the job, right? Nobody wants somebody, who can do a job and is going to be miserable at doing the job, which, by the way, I think you probably meet a lot of people who have jobs exactly like that. They're good at doing the job, but they're miserable at it, and everybody around them becomes miserable as well. You don't want that in your life. You don't want to be miserable at your job, right? So, employers, we want the same thing, right? We want people who are good at their job and happy to do the work because they enjoy the work. So putting a portfolio together is going to, I can tell you, significantly move you to the top of the pack. Significantly move you to the top of the pack. And I'm going to give you some more tips along this line. So here's some more tips. You might say, well, you know what? I don't have anything to put in my portfolio. I'm not in that career yet. I'm not a programmer yet. I'm not a graphic designer yet. I'm not this or that yet. It doesn't matter. You can build one. You don't have to go to school and have somebody tell you to do a project. Just do a project. If you want a job in advertising, design a bunch of ads. If you want a job in copywriting, write a bunch of copy. Write sales copy, write marketing copy, write technical documents, whatever it is, right? If you want to be a journalist, write stories. You don't have to wait for somebody to pay you to write a story or this or that. Do the thing that demonstrate the skill for the job that you want to achieve. Doesn't have to be enormous, doesn't have to be big. Just demonstrate as much as you can and put it together in a portfolio where you're not just telling somebody, oh yeah, I want a career in this area and I have this skill, I have this. You're showing the employer, here's things that I've done that demonstrate not only my skill, but also that I'm interested. So so interested in doing this that I'm putting it together. I'm doing it. And speaking of interest, let's talk about school. Again, school projects are okay to start with. But as an employer, I don't really care what you did in school. I want to care what you did after school on your own time. Show me that you're interested enough that you're doing more than school asks you to do. Or if you finished school a year or 10 years ago, show me that you've continued to learn and progress and demonstrate interest in those areas. So that's the first big piece of advice in terms of the portfolios. Put this stuff together. But here's the second part that's very important. I think it's missed. Is when you're presenting resources in your portfolio, try to make sure that most of them are complete, okay? It's better to have a portfolio with a few things that are fully completed. Everything doesn't have to be fully complete. You can also show some things you're working on, but it's very important to have at least a few things that are fully completed rather than a whole bunch of things that are only partially completed. Here's why. And I'll tell you, because I've interviewed a lot of people over the years and employed a lot of people over the years, and a lot of people I employ are graphic designers or programmers. So I'll give you the example of programming. So I'll get a lot of programmers who will say, well, you know, I've been working on this game or thing like that, and it's never finished, right? Oh, you know, yeah, I've got a bunch of code. You can go on GitHub or get it, or go over here. Here's a USB drive with a bunch of. I'm not going to look at all your code. You know, maybe I'll send that to one of my team members who will actually, you know, go through your code a little bit more closely if you get to the short list. But you may not even get to the short list. You need to show something finished. Don't show me a bunch of things that are partially finished. Show me that not only are you interested, but that you're actually able to take something from nothing and fully complete it, even if it's not great. You know, even you know, if you're a programmer, I'm not expecting you to have amazing graphics. Although nowadays you could actually, you know, buy a bunch of this stuff for $10, $20. But, you know, it's not that an employer is looking for you to be great at everything. They're looking for you to be good, interested, and demonstrate the ability to complete something in the area of skill that you're trying to demonstrate, which fits the job. So don't just put a bunch of resources together. Try to put the resources that are as completed and as refined as possible. And again, that will completely differentiate you from anyone else. In fact, I remember many years ago hiring programmers, and everybody was giving me this half-completed stuff, and this one guy came in and he had a fully completed game. Hired him immediately. I mean, that demonstrated so much more for me. And by the way, this advice I'm giving you too is great, because if you haven't gone to school, if you don't have the degree, if you don't have the diploma, if you don't have the credential, there are many employers who don't care about things. They just care that you can demonstrate the ability to do the job. And if you have a portfolio that completely differentiates you and sets you apart from all the other pile of resumes and applicants they're getting, your chances of winning that job will be much higher. So I hope you'll find this tip helpful. I have another video where I talk about the #1 question I ask people in an interview that really reveals whether they're going to have a chance at a job or a career in the industry. I encourage you to have a look at that video. Again, my name is Mathew Giorgio, and you can find me on LinkedIn and a whole bunch of other places. Thanks.